I'll fix it. Fix it.
Peter, you can share the Zoom link for you, no?
The link is on, I just set it up.
Okay.
Okay, guys. 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, showtime.
Oh, I know Dale normally does the introduction, so I don't
Good
have the
evening,
introduction.
everybody. Welcome to Primal Sports Center. I'm your host, Kane the Shrub Watson. Alongside me,
The guest host. I'm stepping in for the lights of Dale Parham this afternoon. You got Simon Tomlinson with you, a part-time sport analyst, and of
I'm
course,
just going
part
to
of the
try to do
Primal
a short
family.
interview. So I'll be back.
interesting lineup for you today. And I said my other co-host who isn't here is currently in Dunrip coaching juniors, playing a Pan Am Championship. So next week he'll be back and give us a run on that. But this week we have a special guest, an Olympian.
A very special guest, one of a kind guest, I would say. All right, so Primal listeners, you can give a round of applause in the building this afternoon. We've got Yona Knight Wisdom, Jamaica's one and only Olympic diver. Yona, can you hear us?
Hello, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're hearing you perfectly.
You hear me perfectly? That's great.
Yeah. I want to thank you for taking the time because I know you have a busy schedule. I know to run this interview, and I mean, your accolades speak for yourself, and you are somewhat of a pioneer, I would say, because Jamaicans are known for sprinting worldwide, but you break the ice and venture off into diving. So I want to kick things off now to ask, why diving? Where did it all start for you?
Well, diving chose me. I didn't choose diving. Diving chose me. I was picked up from a talent identification program and just never stopped. And I just enjoyed it every single day. The training, the challenge, the thrill of throwing myself off a board. I enjoyed it and I was good at it, which helped me stay in it. And I had ambitions of making it to the Olympics, and I just chased those dreams, chased those ambitions, and was very, very fortunate somehow to make it a reality with the thanks to Jamaica. And now it's my time to give back.
So at what age did this all kick off for you? Because you make it sound like you're just a daredevil from age 2, jumping off boards and all of that. But at what age did you say, okay, this thing is for me?
Well, I was active from a young age. I was maybe not a daredevil, but I definitely enjoyed doing gymnastic things like that. And I started gymnastics when I was about 5 properly. I joined the City of Leeds Gymnastics Club, which was near my home. And then, as I say, diving found me at the age of 9. My gymnastic foundation gave me a really good, quick start in diving. It helped me out a lot. And yeah, I just, started from 9, started competing pretty much in the same year when I started and just slowly built from there. But after watching the Olympic Games in 2004, just after I started, that's what made me have the ambition to make it to the Olympics.
Okay, so a lot of people are going to be listening to us now and they're going to be hearing the accent. They're going to say, this man doesn't sound Jamaican. So explain to us your heritage and how you ended up representing Jamaica.
Yeah, I was born in the UK. My dad is from Jamaica. He was born in Montego Bay. My mum is from Barbados. They both moved away from their islands and ended up in the UK in Leeds. And that's where I was born. That's where I grew up and spent all of my childhood. That's where I started diving. That's where I went to school. That's where I went to university. And then in 2011, the opportunity came to represent Jamaica. I had never represented Great Britain before. It was always a struggle to get selected because my body shape didn't quite fit the ideal for diving. So they maybe didn't see my potential. But I decided to make a change, represent Jamaica, go out on my own accord and figure it out. And yeah, I've been able to make it successful.
So what did Mommy have to say about this? My mom would probably say, die for Barbados.
It was tough. I felt like I was choosing between my 2 families, which it's not a great position to be in. But choosing Jamaica was the obvious and the best choice, I think, because of the sporting heritage of Jamaica. With all the track and field athletes, I felt that would give me the best chance of becoming successful. And fortunately, the Bajan side of my family were very, very supportive. They've been supportive this entire time. They just want to see me do well, and that helped make the choice a little bit easier. So I knew that would be the case, and yeah, I made the decision for Jamaica.
I mean, we have to big up Barbados nonetheless, because Barbados
Definitely.
is a beautiful island, and we have a connection to Barbados nonetheless.
Absolutely.
But we are happy that you chose Jamaica, because as I said, you're a flag bearer for us. And back to your point, because once you're competing, it's on the television and people here in Jamaica tuning. You're not a typical diver, because we see you on the board and the likes of who you're competing against. You're built different and you dive different, but yet still you have been successful. So tell us, how do you shape your attributes, because you can't change how you built into being an Olympic diver?
Yeah. It was just getting used to the changing in my body shape. When I was around 14, 15, I went through quite a major growth spurt, and that changed the way that I had to dive. It changed my proprioception of my body. It changed the way that everything felt in the air. So I had to get used to that, and I had to work hard to figure out how to move my new limbs and how to be efficient with my performance. But fortunately, I had a really good foundation in terms of technique from the very beginning, and that's what allowed me to make the changes that I needed to become a good diver. But other than that, realistically, I was just a good athlete. I was a good learner. I would listen and try what my coach would tell me to do. I'd try to make the changes, even if it went wrong. And that's what it took really to manage with my height.
Okay. So I know you in diving, typically you look at the Chinese or the Asian countries as the top divers in the world, right? You
Yeah.
giving your frame, given that you're how tall are you, by the way? And how much do you
I
weigh?
I'm 6 foot. I'm just over 6'2", so 189 centimeters, and I weigh 92 to 94 kilos, depending on how much I've eaten.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
having those kind of attributes, obviously, does that put you at a disadvantage, or is it more impressive to judges? Because I mean, diving is a sport based on interpretation of the judges, and they score you. So
Yeah.
when you speak about your body height and your comparison to those who you're competing against, do you get an advantage, or do you get maybe extra points, bonus points for doing what you're doing, given your size and shape and everything?
No, unfortunately, the judges don't care about the fact that I'm taller, and it is judged, yes, but there's also a difficulty element. That's where my disadvantage comes, because physically I cannot do some of the more difficult dives that the smaller divers can do. So I have to make up for it in the execution of my dive. So even if I do slightly easier dives, if I execute them well, then I can still make up the points to be competitive. And that's what I've worked on so hard in my career, is really perfecting and really reaching the highest level of quality on the easier dives, so that when I do compete, I'm still in the mix. And then the more difficult dives that I can do that maybe match some of the small divers, I have to work extra hard to be able to make them, to be able to compete them well, because they are really, really hard for me. So yeah, it's absolutely a disadvantage being tall, but fortunately I was able to make up for it with the technique that I have, with my strength and power, and just my general ability. Fortunately, with diving, it helps out a lot.
I think that makes it more impressive.
Yeah, I mean, and even so, we touched on your height and your weight. Tell us, you must have a regime, and people just feel like, hey, just get up and dive. Because obviously, you said depends on what you eat, so you have to diet. I'm sure you go to the gym, so break it down to the listeners to go through your training week or your schedule. Because I know you probably, I'm sure you hit the gym, and people in different sports be like, oh, you dive. Why you need to go gym
Yeah,
for?
why you guys
Oh,
jump for that?
hey, why you need to dive?
Yeah,
You just dive in a pool.
Yeah.
And people, I mean, we know because you're an Olympian and you're a professional athlete. So break it down for the listeners. Say for example, your training week schedule and what it's like to prepare for an event, your event, that is.
yeah. I do 6 days of training a week. 4 out of those 6 days include 2 training sessions at the pool, and 2 out of those 6 days is just one training session at the pool. On top of all of those, I have 2 strength and conditioning sessions each week. So that totals to 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 training sessions throughout the week. All of them probably between an hour and a half and 2.5 hours long. Um, and within the full sessions, I'll do maybe about an hour to an hour and a half in the gym. So we do a lot of conditioning work, a lot of acrobatic work, gymnastic skills, flexibility, core conditioning, all those elements to gain the strength and the competence for the dive that we need to do. and then we'll get in the water, and then we'll spend an hour doing the competition dives, the build-up dives, the easy dives, the basics, everything. It's a full range, and that's basically the schedule all the way through the year. The intensity changes a little bit depending on whether I'm pre-competition or in a training phase. So that's on my coach to manage. But it's a lot of hard work. It's basically like a full-time job, because the times that I'm not at the pool, I'm basically just recovering or eating to get ready for the next session, whether that's the same day or the next day. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, because you mentioned, you said easy dives. I was about to correct you. There's no such thing as an easy dive for us.
Exactly.
Because I mean, you make it look easy, but I mean, don't sell yourself short. Because I mean, you put in the work, and I mean, that's just a training field, and you've been doing this for years and years. And I mean, you're a pro.
For a long time. Yeah.
And
no, man, easy dives for Tomo though, because he's an expert. He's a professional. He knows what he's doing.
I didn't want to brag, but since you bring it up,
he told me next year he's going to show me at the camp, so he's going to join next year.
And even talking about the camp, because I mean, you're here in Jamaica. Tell us you're here in Jamaica doing your camp. Tell us about the camp and your visit here to Jamaica currently.
Yes, so the camp has just finished now. Today was the last day. We had a display where the divers could show off what they'd learned, and they had a small competition to see who was the best. And it was a great 2 weeks. The divers learned a lot. They were extremely enthusiastic. They're super keen for a program to continue even after I leave. I'm leaving tonight. But it was a really good experience for everyone. The spectators enjoyed watching the show today. So hopefully it gives us the foundation that we need to really push for the development of diving here. I know that I'm going to have to be the one to push it, but we need some support from sponsors, from the government, from the Ministry of Sport to bring everything together, improve the facility, make it happen, hopefully build some new facilities, find some satellite facilities where we can find diving talent, set up identification programs to go into schools and find young talented athletes. And if they're not talented in diving, they might be talented in something else as well. So we need to collaborate with all the other sports as well, with gymnastics, swimming, artistic, all the sports, because talented athletes can be good in any sport, and it's about how much they train and how disciplined they are.
Yeah. Plus, as I said, the support is needed, because without the support, all these talent will go to waste. And I said it's a collaborative effort.
Speaking of the talent, I went to the camp this morning, right? So I saw some of the kids, and Yona told me that they've only been doing what they've been doing, diving, for the last 2 weeks. When I tell you that some of these kids were so impressive, there's a little girl, I don't know her name. It's a little girl in a Yona, you can give me her name in the
her name
green.
was Jordan. Her name was Jordan.
That little girl, I have her in the next Olympics because the skills that she was demonstrating at that young age. And then even, Kane, can you imagine going up? How high is the tallest platform, Yona?
The tallest one is 10 meters.
Can you imagine going 10 meters in the air at that age? She's a small girl. She hasn't reached 10 yet. And jumping off?
Did you know I did it once before?
You're out of
your mind. A frightening experience.
Have you done it yet, Tomo? No.
I jumped off the diving board by the stadium pool before, and trust me, it wasn't a wonderful experience.
I respect you for doing training. It.
Yeah, I was terrified, but I did it though. I man up and I did it, but me and the water aren't close as friends. But I mean, hey, that's what I'm saying. When you say easy dive, I was wondering, like, trust me.
Yeah,
there's no such thing as easy dive, but I mean, the pros make it look easy, but I said years of training. Yeah. So you said it was a successful camp now, and you're off tonight. So what's next for Yona Night on the scene, diving scene?
For me, I'm retired from diving, so I am going to go back home and just have a month of relaxation and being able to do things, doing what I want when I want, to eat what I want, to go where I want. No obligation. After that, I'm hoping to get involved in coaching in the UK and hopefully utilising the people that I know over there to help me in my development of diving over here. And then it's to continue kind of overseeing the development of the program over here as well. I've identified a coach who can potentially deliver sessions. We're just waiting on advice about pool time and availability for diving. And I will then provide her the schedule, but then also work with the higher organizations to deliver my proposals to make the facility up to scratch and hopefully build some new facilities as well. So we'll see, but I'm going to stay active in Jamaica for sure.
Okay, so I mean, you have had a long, illustrious career.
3 Olympics.
I mean, you're a Pan Am silver medalist, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So I mean, tell us I mean, the highs and the lows. Give us your most memorable moment in your diving career. It could be one, two, could be three. Just tell us when you look back and be like, hey, that was
that was it.
That
was the
that was a
time.
special time, or you know.
The
As we know, as
most
athletes, we have
memorable.
yeah.
The most memorable moment was when I won my World Cup silver medal in 2016 in Rio, because the day before I had just qualified for the Olympics, for my first Olympics. So that was amazing. And then the following day, I went on to have just the most unbelievable competition ever, and that did everything perfectly and won a World Cup silver medal, which someone like me should have been nowhere near that podium. So that was an amazing moment that really put me on the diving map if I wasn't on there already. And it's a moment that not only I will remember, but many other divers that were included in the event and that were around the pool at that time also remember it very clearly because it was so exceptional. And it's something I'm extremely proud of. That was my best moment.
Love that. Nice.
I mean, as I said, Pan Am Games, World Cups, Olympics, Commonwealth
So
Games,
many.
so many, and I mean, we have to give it to you. I mean, you've done the country proud. I said we have to break ground in other sports, and we all have to work together. And I hope all your ambitions with diving. I mean, you're the pioneer, and I wish you all the best in all your endeavors. And I mean, you're part of the Primal Family team. So when you have anything going on in diving, you know, we can give you a call. You can showcase it here because I mean we have over 30,000 listeners right now.
And since we'll be involved in the next camp, you know, since we're both diving in the next camp, we have to know what's going on.
I'll watch it diving. I'm not. I give up on it.
That's
It's
the
like when you're
content
retired
that
from
people
diving.
want to see.
There you go. That's what we're talking about. That's content.
Both of us are retired from the diving. We leave it to Tamo. The diving to Tamo now. Yeah, I'm retired from diving.
We'll see. One day. You never know.
But I mean, I want to thank you for taking the time out because I know you have a busy schedule, and I mean, all the best as I said. And from here on the Primal team, you have done Jamaica proud, flag bearer. I mean, I forget to put in captain of the recent Olympic team. Team
Correct.
cap.
Yes.
I mean, another feather in your cap. Hey, I mean, so that's also a great feat. So I want to thank you on behalf of the
Yeah, man. Thank you. Have a good flight home.
Thank you. See you soon. All right. Bye.
All right, man.
That was Yona Wisdom,
3-time Olympian, first Jamaican and first man from the Caribbean to make it to the Olympics.
Yeah, and I said when he just named his shining moment, that one that sticks out in his mind, and to him that was where he thought he announced himself to the world, hey, I'm here to stay, and that was 2016. And I mean,
in the words of a great man, it has never been done before.
Yeah. So,
all right.
I mean, that was Yona Wisdom. And I like to hear, athletes from all different sports, and one thing they have in common is dedication.
And one thing that we have in common as the Primal family is that we watch every sport.
Yeah.
And the fact that we get so heavily invested in every sport, once you start watching, it's just, it takes off.
You were at the camp this morning.
Listen, I was at the camp and I was one of the top supporters. I didn't know anything that was happening. I didn't know how to judge what was going on, but I said, listen, I've made my picks. I see my talent. It was
just like I went to the Davis Cup, that just crossed my mind. When we saw Davis Cup team play. So we always try to keep in contact with all these sports and see Jamaicans just go out there and just perform. And it's not, I mean, we all want to win, but win, lose, or draw, to go out there and just fight and battle with that competitive spirit.
That's the most fun. That's fun part. That's competing. So we're going on. We're moving on now. We're talking about next sport up. I believe we want to go into some tennis,
Tennis.
Yeah.
We move from diving arena to tennis, as we just mentioned, the Davis Cup. And what's on the horizon for tennis? Some US Open.
On tennis, we've got the US Open qualifiers going on now, of course, in New York. The main draw, I believe, starts later on next week. We had some drama in the tennis world this week with Yannick Sinner, brand new world number one, facing some controversy. A little bit of, I see Peter giving a look. It's the controversy boss. I know he has some stuff to give us later on, but just to give an overview.
We leave that to Peter with his because I know he's going to put it in commentary. Some controversial topic. But I want to ask you, is Djokovic playing this year or something?
Djokovic, I believe he said he was going to. I don't think he should, given that he went through the Wimbledon with a knee injury, but he did then go on to win the Olympics week before last. So
in this studio, it seems to be everybody go to except mine. So I just wanted to know if it was going for another Grand Slam title, because it's hard to argue against.
Yeah, he's got what? He's got 24, I believe, right now. And we said 24. We didn't even bring up the fact that today is
yesterday.
Today, World Mamba Day.
Oh, well,
yesterday was the birthday, but today is
8/24.
8/24.
I big up the Mamba. I mean, everybody who knows me, that is my favorite athlete of all time.
Kobe Bryant.
You can name greater athletes for sure, but personally, that's my athlete.
Yeah.
And I have to big up the Mamba. Yesterday would have been his 46th birthday, and today is, where Mamba Day, 8/24.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know, it's because, of course, Kobe famously wore numbers 8 and 24 in his career. And if you check your calendar, today is 8/24.
And one thing I rate to Djokovic, you know, he's a Mamba man.
He
You
is.
rate the Mamba.
He is. So after,
that's why I kind of give him a leeway when I say
Listen,
Djokovic is. Yeah.
all signs are leading Kane towards supporting the correct players. Djokovic,
No,
in his,
I've never said Djokovic isn't great, you know. I have Djokovic right up there with the best of the best.
I know you have Nadal as number one. Nadal is your player.
I have
No,
Federer as
you
one.
have Federer as number one, but
Nadal
Nadal
is
is your
my
favorite player. Yeah.
Nadal is my favorite player because
Yeah.
of his mentality and his work rate and all that. We all like our different characteristics in players, in teams. I mean, even so, I don't know why people still Man United fans to this day, but
Hey.
that goes to show people just loyal to their teams.
Yeah.
People have their picks. Because, I mean, I'm a Juventus fan. I mean, I'm a Nadal fan, but I can look and say, hey, Federer is the greatest. In my eyes, I'm a Kobe fan. I can look and say, hey, Michael Jordan is the greatest.
We don't know.
We all have our picks, but one thing though, on the tennis, it's hard to argue against Djokovic.
It is hard to argue against him,
And
but
it's been a while now. You've been telling me that Djokovic is the greatest. You're trying to put me on that side.
I only speak facts and I try to give factual information, and the information backs up itself. So I mean,
And plus
you're
now
welcome.
winning that Olympic gold medal. So
Olympic gold medal.
put some respect on Joker's name.
Definitely.
Him zero the game.
He has won everything there is to win in
So
tennis at this point.
It's just, as I said, you can't argue against it. He
There
has
you go.
everything in his cabinet, and even on the court watching him, he has little to no weakness.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
But even so, even speaking about Djokovic, he is not the one that is defending his title. Of course, you have Alcaraz.
oh, they're just going. That's why I said we'll slow it down a bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to Alcaraz for the US Open.
Are you?
Go Djokovic.
I
That
think-
would mean number 25, and then the argument going to be harder for me.
I
can't take
think-
arguing you guys so much.
The reason why I don't want Djokovic playing this one is because I believe, of course, Australian Open is his number one Grand Slam. He's won more Australian Opens than anyone else, right?
10?
Somewhere in double digits, close to that, right? And I think that he should take the time to recover and get back into the groove to then secure the Australian Open, his favorite court.
But with his mentality, that man.
No, with his mentality, and of course, as a athlete, you'd know better than to say.
And I wouldn't say it would be easy for him, but he knows that a couple of the matches, his mentality will carry him through.
Yeah.
And but by the time he look, he's in the quarters, semis.
Exactly.
And then from right there, it's just, hey, to the finish line. And
Exactly.
he has that switch, that thing that all these athletes have, where you look at a Michael Jordan, you look at a Kobe Bryant,
What separates
you
them?
look at them, and you can just see it in their eyes that, hey, I love doing this.
Definitely.
They're not
Definitely.
doing it for the fame or the money. Just going out there and it's like, this is what I do.
Yeah, but I mean, he has been beaten in a few US Opens before by some of the current big names.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean,
Some excitement going on outside.
Nothing beats Father Time.
Definitely.
I mean, he's getting up there in age. I think he's now 37.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Going up against some of the young boys now, so going up against the Medvedevs,
Sinners,
the Sinners.
Alcaraz.
Yeah, he's going to have a hard time winning this one. And of course, you have the women's side as well with Coco Gauff, who won her first US Open last year, looking to defend her title again this year.
Yeah, and you have, Swiatek is always in the mix.
Yeah.
And
Ons Jabeur, you have what's her name, Sabalenka.
Yeah.
A lot of
a
females.
lot of
on there.
Europeans are always around, hanging around.
Yeah.
So, I mean, US Open is going to be very interesting again. It's too early for go for my pick, but I can't afford Djokovic to go 25.
I can. I have no problem. with it.
I know you don't have no problem.
Yeah, I
with
have
it.
no issue with that.
Yeah.
Just,
24 is a good number.
we're only extending the
Go
goal.
about like 24, so you can stay
No,
at
no,
24.
25 will be separating ourselves from the pack, so I think we're going to go for that one.
Yeah, I mean, the next best is Nadal with 22
There you go.
and Federer with 20. But when it comes to tennis and, tennis goats, those three push the game to a next level. And
Yeah.
when you look on all the other sports, like the Tiger Woods and the Boyz, and you always have these athletes that come on the scene and then push it to a next level. So for somebody else now to push it to a next level, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be difficult.
And in football, Messi or Ronaldo now, with the likes of, I saw Messi start the other day. Everybody know I'm a big Messi fan.
Mm-hmm.
If you have 50 goals and assists per season for the next 20 years, and football's career don't really last over 20 years, but he still will not surpass Messi. And it's over 20 years span. So, as I said, in tennis, it's hard to pass in 24. what Messi and Ronaldo have been doing for years, it's hard to pass.
I said 24 is hard to get one sometimes. Look at how much players don't have one Grand Slam title.
You
But-
name them, and to have even so double digits. I remember Pete Sampras was the man to surpass at 14,
Yeah,
and then Federer took it to 20.
20. And
Nadal
you thought you would think
22.
20 between Nadal and Federer going back to back to back to back. You know, you weren't really sure which of them were going to take it. To then have Djokovic to surpass him to the point where he's gotten almost 25.
Yeah,
24 right now.
I think he's 24. I think that's it. I'm not calling it a career, Djokovic. I mean, I didn't pick it for the Olympics again. I mean, after I apologized to you like last week when I apologized to Sydney.
Don't worry. If it's one thing, we will always accept the apologies because we will always
But one
be
thing,
there.
you
too.
know, I've never sold these players short and said they're not great.
No, definitely.
I
not.
mean, greatness is I mean, when you look at them, you're supposed to Google great and see all these people just pop up.
Yeah. When you talk about the Mount Rushmore of sports, you have some people who are just that have to be on the
And
on the
speaking of
list.
Mount Rushmore, I like that topic. And before we have Peter coming up in a few minutes, contrary boss, I know he'll talk about his MMA and Yannick Sinakas. From week he been giving it to me. Oh, it's our prediction last week.
Yeah.
So I don't even mention that, and I leave for him always I try to steal him thunder. But when he come on in a few minutes, in about 3 minutes or so, but I like the topic you just bring up, and I probably after Peter's soliloquy and his sports commentary.
Controversy.
Who you would put on your Mount Rushmore of great athletes?
My Rushmore?
Mount Rushmore is like 4 athletes.
I think it's
right?
4 or 5.
It's a 5. It's a
Yeah,
5.
that one. I'll take some time to think about that one. My
I have to
5.
think about it, but even so, in thinking about that, because while Peter's doing his sports commentary, I listen to him plus think about my Mount Rushmore. I'm wanting to even put more than one athlete per sport, because even so, you have some sports with more than one grades. Because for tennis, you put a tennis person up there when it's hard to separate those 3.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'd probably even leave off a tennis player.
That's going to be a difficult one to.
And for one, everybody know Muhammad Ali is.
Yeah, you
what
have
he
to.
did
There are some names that are household names that
in the
are.
arena, out of the arena is no short of, I mean, global. Everybody knows Muhammad Ali. I mean, the only person probably more popular than Muhammad Ali is probably Gandhi and Michael Jackson. They're not sports figures, but so Muhammad Ali definitely. I mean, I said, well, give it a little thought. So
That
we have
one's-
10 minutes
Yeah.
to
I got to think about that one. That was going to be a
Muhammad
difficult
Ali,
pick.
Michael Jordan, definitely.
What I think we can invite the listeners to do as well is to give us their 5 to see who they would put
Because
in the
after
top 5.
sports commentary, we'll have a session where you can feel free to call in and talk about anything. And I mean, I'm keen. I've heard a call in a while. I want to hear something about Man U.
About Manu, you bring up football, you bring up disappointment.
Oh yes, after sports commentary later on the show, we'll have Froggy in 5, and him can't shy away from that. Because
No,
he's a
definitely
Man U
not.
fan. And he came in fuming in the studio saying, what the word he used, insipid? He'd have to come and break down the definition of that word for me, because when he came in, Man U is insipid. He's insipid. And he's a big Man U fan.
I think he said the Manu fans are insipid, I believe.
I don't know what he's saying, but I don't know what. But later on the show, you bring it down, because I'm going to leave the football segment for a Man U fan, Froggy in 5. I just sit here and just watch him talk about football, and then I just show it, because I mean, I woke up to over 200 messages on my phone. I'm like, what is this? Man U played an early match this morning, and my phone was blowing up. Because a lot of Jamaicans are Man U fans, and
Well,
I tell them that.
I know that there are fans, but I saw a post last week where they said Manu, when the Premier League started, they said, oh, Manu is playing today, but all Premier League hopefuls are starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we don't know how the Manu fan is going to lead that segment, but we'll have to see.
I mean, I tell him that the Manchester is blue now, because he's sitting on Holland with a hat.
Haaland with, yep.
So Manchester is blue. So we leave that later on the show again. But while we have sports commentary coming up, we'll try to wrap the brain about and think about
Mount Rushmore.
sports.
That'll be
right
difficult.
Now, people, we have sports commentary with the controversial boss himself.
Greetings, sports commentary time. Welcome to substitute host Simon Tomlinson. Many people don't know this, but Simon Tomlinson is one of Jamaica's 3 most distinguished table tennis players of all time. Simon Tomlinson has 5 national table tennis championships, which is more than myself and this man put together. But at the same
Actually, no. I have 4 and you have 2.
Okay, more.
So it's 6.
Go on.
Don't say it's
But
short.
notwithstanding, this table
I think
is.
I have 2 weeks left to enter the current national team, so we're not going to know.
We've replaced a great coach with a great thing there. Congrats, Simon.
Thank you, sir.
Speaking of greatness, UFC last week I made a prediction and I advised the audience to invest in my prediction.
Okay.
This could change your life if you follow the man who knows sports. You know, I have a trainee Schwab here, but he's not bad. But when it comes to prediction in this sport, UFC, it requires more than just technical knowledge. It requires warrior code. It requires a man who has been in the trenches and knows what it's like to face another man and submit him, beat him senseless. And that's how my cred comes from. My street
You're
cred.
referring to yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't romp with me.
All right.
When it comes to fighting and predicting fights. So Simon, next chance again. Bet on whoever I think. Last week, I predicted that Duplessis would beat Adesanya. Now, Adesanya is one of the greatest of all times, you know.
Yeah, he's a style bender.
But I thought he had lost a little bit of step. Most people can't see, but my trained martial artist eyes were able to see the difference. And so I told people, risk it all, because I'm telling you what's going to happen. And strangely in the fight, at the last minute, the fight was going pretty even. Adesanya was almost dominating, I would say, getting the better of the exchanges. Duplessis tried to take him down several times, but Israel fought his way down, out of it. But he was thrown around a little bit more than I liked. And then at the last minute, Israel just seemed to quit and allowed himself to be choked out, exactly as I predicted. But I don't know where it comes from. I don't know where this talent comes from to be able to accurately predict results and analyze sports. And I think it could be a way of saving people's economic fortunes. Just listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying, man. Don't tell me. Anyway, did you guys see the bad behavior by Carlos Alcaraz recently?
Very
at a
rare.
tournament in the States?
A very rare explosion.
I think it was quite telling that Adesanya showed that bit of rage and frustration. People who watch tennis closely, and I'm one of them. Alcaraz, I'm sorry.
yeah.
What did I say?
Adesanya.
Still stuck on the fight. Still stuck on the
So
fight.
anyway, Carlos was being frustrated by an older veteran, Monfils. Now, Monfils is a black guy. He's very talented, good to watch. You ever watch him play?
Of course.
And Carlos was frustrated. And at 20 little bit, losing to such an older man, it can be quite difficult. And as an older man, sometimes I have to teach the youngsters what time it is. And so I can relate to the frustration and the rage that I saw from Monfils.
So what did Alcaraz do? He broke his racket, I believe.
Yeah, but he was slamming the racket and he was just going.
Yeah.
He was out of control because he was frustrated. And Carlos been showing some weakness lately, you know. I saw him play a match the other day, probably in Spain, and he was complaining that the court was too fast. Center court too fast to the outer court. And he's complaining a lot. One day I saw him complain that the balls were too pressured. You know, for a top man, you complain a lot. And anyway, he has a big title to defend and a lot of pressure. Yeah. And with US Open coming up and the Joker on the hunt, I see the pressure. Joker starts playing on Monday, by the way.
Yeah.
He's number 2 seed. Alcaraz is number 1 seed. I think number 1 seed going to have a difficulty defending their title, as will number 1. I don't know if Coco is the defending champion, I think.
She is.
But she's not my favorite to win.
Who do you have?
And I like, what's the name of that girl there again? Iga Swiatek. I'm always picking Swiatek. She's always disappointed me. But this time again, I'm going to pick Swiatek. Now, the jackass says the world not level. You have a man named Aaron Knighton who tested for Trenbolone the other day.
Okay.
A powerful anabolic steroid. It allows you to run the 200 meters in under 19 point something seconds, under 20 seconds. Trenbolone, if you chew your Trenbolone properly, come with beef and so on. But Aaron Knighton has been running very well, and I've been watching him saying that youth might be on something. Now we know what it is. It's Trenbolone. So they caught Knighton and asked him, how the hell you get Trenbolone in your system? The man is saying that is some oxtail and beans him get from a Jamaican restaurant in mid-Florida. Didn't like that. Well, it couldn't be an American restaurant. Anyway, the point is that he was exonerated, which is a fancy word of saying him get off. You know what I mean? And furthermore, you know, people from the USA hardly ever get caught on these things, you know. No matter what them find in them system, there's an explanation. And so Yannick Sinner, tennis player, the other day he got tested, not once, but twice, and caught with clobetal, something like that. Another powerful anabolic steroid, right? And you understand why these players have been able to produce this massive amount of power and strength? then they're
a
saying,
small frame.
yeah, no, the excuse they have for Mr. Sinner is that his physiotherapist might have had some contaminated thing, another cut on his finger. And the cut on his finger, while he's massaging Mr. Sinner, the cut on his finger somehow leaked tiny amounts of the clobetal into the bloodstream of Mr. Sinner. I don't know what those two men were doing, but I don't know if it's massage. How the finger get in? How does a finger get into a man? Get onto a man? I didn't say into a man. How does, it sounds suspicious to me.
It sounds on the same line.
And at the same time, he got off again. He got off because Sinner was cleared of all wrongdoing, And Jamaica don't have that experience, You catch a man with a little thing, that's the end of his career. But not so for these people from the first world nations.
Well, I mean, you do have a Jamaican man that was caught with something this week as well.
I'll comment on that later on. Good news for Jamaican football, that right-wing position is beginning to look very competitive. Mr. Leon Bailey, who took time off and wants to come back, I'm told we have signed a deal. We're possibly bringing in Mason Greenwood, who I've always considered fabulous talent for England. So Mason Greenwood has been trying to get into the outfit for some time. He's been seen in social media wearing the Jamaica gears. And so there's no surprise there. And I think that it gives us some options. I know that Leon Bailey said he's the one who's bringing a light to Jamaican football. He's shining a light on the football, and he don't get no pay from Jamaica and all this kind of thing. Hopefully we'll be able to hold on to Mr. Mason Greenwood a little bit longer.
But didn't Leon Bailey say he wasn't playing for Jamaica again? And a very recent
he's taking his break, and if he decides to come back, we may well take him back. The new coach who has been signed has been secretly talking to him, apparently. They live close to each other. Yeah, they live close to each other. And they've been having discussions about Leon coming back when you feel like. And I wonder how many Jamaicans will. I'm not one of those Jamaicans. I as you guys know, I'm up for standards. And I think it doesn't look good for a player to abandon his country at the time we're playing. What was the competition? Was it no, it wasn't Copa. Wasn't it Confederation? Nations League. And Copa, right. And he abandoned us at the time when he was needed, and he actually insulted the nation. I think an apology is the least, but I don't see any comeback for that young man right now. So I'm going to say one quick point and jump out of it. One more point in athletics, that Mr. Frano has said that Facebook, Instagram, and Simon Tomlinson, you should check him on TikTok, by the way.
And YouTube.
And YouTube, and every social media forum that known to man. But Frano is saying that this is affecting the athletes, and maybe some of them should be banned from social media. I welcome Simon's thoughts on this, but at the same time, Frano is saying every time trying to talk to these people, their head is into the phone, and him can't get anything done. No,
I agree with him.
Our performance, we just had Diamond League over the week, just a couple of days ago, and I noticed that Jamaica, who has 3 of the 4 best hurdlers in the 110-meter hurdles, they did very well. They did very well. And I asked the question, why is it we do well in these Corrigoat events? And when the big dance come around, Grant Holloway, who can't stand in Broadwell shoes. And what's the other hurdle? Parchment. These guys, these listen, Holloway is a just equally talented.
Yeah.
And yet, every time the big dance comes around, our pocket gets picked by the Americans. There's something happening in sports that we need to figure out what it is we're doing wrong. And the same thing happened with Sha'Carri. We had the 2 favorites for the 100 Worlds a year ago. And Sharika and Shelley. And even Ilian wasn't there. But at the last minute, our pocket was picked by the American, who wasn't performing up to that point. Jamaicans, we perform well in heats. We perform well in semis. And then when the big dance come around, we lean back and give it to the American. We have seen Merlin Otti did it 22 years ago. Lean back and make Gwen Torrance and Gail Divas nipper. There is a Rashid.
Broadwell.
No, not Rashid. 100 meter. Kishian did the same thing, trying to run through the race erect like Frankenstein. Lean at the tape, man. And finally, I have a question for you guys. I've been looking at social media a lot, right? And I heard somebody say something. They released an artist from prison the other day. And I'm looking at the guy who I see. And I'm looking good. And I know Adidja Palmer. I know Adidja well. And I'm not sure. Is that guy really cartel? Call us and tell us if the guy who came out of jail, is it cartel? Because this guy have a broader face. I know they're talking about Graves' disease and all this kind. But this guy doesn't look like cartel. And he doesn't sound quite like cartel. And I see there's a big show going on. And we're all buying these tickets in advance. I hear Simon Thompson ticket alone is $12 million to go watch Sky Boot. Sky Boot is called.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to the public, that show is going to tell us if it's a real cartel, because it's not easy to do a long show, you know. It's a long show. It's a big stadium. It's a big arena. And we haven't heard the man even drop a little line and go, or something like that. So I'm saying to you that if you want to listen to your ramping shop and your, you know, what other song, Virgin, yeah, those kind of music. I don't know if this is the best forum. So please call us and let us know, all who think that's cartel. Because I'm not sure. That's sports commentary. What say you?
People, do you remember now? Phone lines are open. 1-876-552-7406. 1-876-552-7406. Via WhatsApp only. I tell you what, Peter always end with something.
Always something to
but
throw
really,
you off.
that don't really look like cartel at all. It's probably a stunt double, I tell you. And it's a poor stunt double at that. But
I believe he's in where? He's in is it St. Vincent now? And he's purchased property over there, and he's looking to get himself better.
A little tournament going on in St. Vincent at Peter, we might have to go down there, you know. I go check cartel down there too, and
Right.
so I go on, yeah.
So you guys think it's cartel?
No, I don't think it's cartel. Just like I don't even think it's Jamie Foxx, but hey, I'm a conspiracy theorist myself, but I keep that under wraps, but I stick to the sports segment. And like, I forgot to pick up the people on Fit FM 96.7. I mean, I have to pick them up all the time. Listeners down there in Chilani. But yeah, Peter touched on some interesting points, and one we're going to kick off and start about is the Stephen Francis topic.
Yeah.
And again, gentle people, YouTube page, you have to subscribe to him. Tamo TV. And we're going to bash social media now, but yet still we're telling you to subscribe. But these are for the athletes. I think you agree with Frano.
I 100% do. I think social media has not social media. There's nothing wrong with social media. Social media is an excellent tool to get information, to have information shared, to promote yourself. Can be used as excellent marketing strategy. It is necessary in this nowadays world. Yeah. Do I think social media needs to be your priority while competing? Definitely not.
Or even training.
Or even training. I think we can go back to, back in the day, high school days, where when you go to class, your phone has to be off, and you have to hand in your phone to the teacher, all that kind of thing. Social media is a distraction at this point, right? Especially given the nature of track and field being a high-profile sport, where of course you're going to have a lot of publicity, a lot of traffic going towards. If you are Noah Lyles, Sharika, Kishane doing what he's done, you're going to have a lot of traffic going on your social media, and it can all become definitely overwhelming.
Because I think what he was referring to was Tia Clayton, young Tia Clayton.
Yeah.
She saw something on, I don't remember if it was TikTok or Instagram.
Exactly.
He said he thought that affected her performance.
Yeah.
Some negative comment to that, and again, she's a young athlete. I mean, we can't say she should know better, she should do better, but his thought process as a coach is he needs to limit their access to certain
Definitely, and
social
not even
media platforms,
not even
which
to
will
go as
provide
far.
negativity. Huh?
Not even to go as far as Tia Clayton. Have you seen the backlash that Janelle Bromfield's been getting online? Janelle Bromfield is a 400-meter runner from Jamaica, those who are unaware, and she is the current girlfriend of Noah Lyles, a 100-meter Olympic champion. And over the last few weeks, Noah, for the backstory, went on our podcast where he said that he knew all of the Jamaican happenings and going and coming, specifics about certain athletes, and he knows that because of his girlfriend. Yeah. So of course,
pillar
Jamaica, talk. Pillar talk, nothing wrong in that case. Wrong to share it, of course, with a big platform. But people have been on Janelle's case about, talking too much about Jamaica to her boyfriend, who is direct competition, and she's been receiving a lot of pressure on social media. Now, she was at the Olympics as well because she did qualify. And imagine being her having to be constantly attacked via social media about your relationship, about your color, because of course they're attacking the color of her
people
skin.
that out there just would just make some stupid comments.
Exactly, and she even made a post a couple of days ago about she just showed some of the comments that she got on her video. Now imagine having to compete after having seen people bash you and tear you down in that way. Social media,
even your own countrymen.
exactly, people who you think is supposed to have your back.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult. So I think social media, I agree with Fran wholeheartedly. I believe that social media should be cut out during certain times. Training for sure, no phones. Competition wise,
But even so, you go home, you turn it on, and you're going to see the same comments. I get it.
that is true. But
It's hard to cut out social media once you have it. It's either you don't have it on your phone, or you just have it.
I would say have it after competition. So a week or two before competition, we're shutting that off. Now we're focusing on what we have to do here, day in, day out. When you go back to your regular life, by all means, on social
You
media.
can have WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And communicate and all of that.
Yeah.
But the TikToks and the Instagrams and all these channels, and I said there's a lot of negative out there. And if it's going to affect your performance, you can zone in for 2 weeks, as I said, and just limit. Because even so, when you're a performer, you're going to perform at whatever sport it is, you get in the zone. You block out the noise, whether, I wouldn't say noise, but even your own family, you'll be like, all right, it's game time. You go to the game.
But I think
things are separated in that sense.
And there are ways to separate the social media from yourself. Yeah. Of course, being the nature of social media being used as a marketing tool, you can, if you want to use as an argument why you can't cut out social media, because you need to market yourself. You get paid to promote sponsors that you have. You get like a Sharika and a water. She gets paid to make those posts and promotions. So you would argue that she needs social media. That's exactly why she has a team. She could have a social media manager, or she has a track and field manager who makes these posts on her behalf after having, linked to all the sponsors and all that. So there's no reason why the athlete directly has to have the social media. There is no there's no huge benefit for them at that time of competition for them to have social media, ones that cannot be managed by outside sources.
And coming from a great coach, Stephen Francis, I mean, he definitely has clout.
Yeah.
And he knows what he's doing. I mean, we don't agree every time with what he says, but when he talks, we have to listen. True. And we have to decipher it, and we have to pick what we have to pick out of what he says. And we both agree here.
I agree.
And he has a point that negativity that comes from it definitely should be shut out when it's time to go.
Definitely.
An excuse?
An excuse?
But even so, was Tia Clinton even so a favorite? So.
No, she wasn't a favorite. The fact that she made it to the finals alone was amazing.
She had a bad performance. So I'm saying, is this an excuse?
No,
I don't think so.
It before. I don't see it as an excuse.
And to be fair, I given Mr. Francis' track record, I don't see any reason for him to need to create an excuse. It's not as though the race that he had was supposed to be a medal contender or expected to be a medal contender. So I don't think he feels the need.
I'm saying, was it an excuse for MVP's overall poor performance?
No, I don't think so. I don't find it to be an excuse. I find it to be a reasonable point as the coach, given the investment that athletes have made, and given what can affect them, and in an attempt to try and control performances and all that. So I don't think it's an excuse.
Everything has its negatives and positives. So you have to take note in what you draw it from.
Yeah.
I said, if it's going to affect your performance, and that's why in sports you have to have sports psychologists, you have to have therapists, you have to have agents, everybody to play their role. So for the athlete itself, the athlete comes with a support system. So with your support system, with psychologists, with your agent and all of that, you have to create a positive environment, and to block out something that's negative, as I said, Instagram or so for 2 weeks or so, I think he definitely has a point.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so moving on from that, sticking on track and field, the Diamond League earlier in the week, we saw Broadbell.
Yeah, we saw Broadbell
defeating Grant Holloway.
Yeah.
And Peter saying, hey, why never do it on a big stage? But I mean, the time that was running the race, 13:10, good time, that wouldn't have won. I think Grant Holloway just ran a better race in the Olympics, and even the season that Broadbell and partnered up with setbacks and injuries, I mean, to see them now in the latter part of the season, still competing and finishing the top of events, that's hats off to them, getting a good victory for Rashid Broadbell.
And of course, winning the Diamond League is a pretty penny in your pocket as well. You have
to collect dollars, you have to collect so. Yeah.
And then also on the women's side, you had Jasmine Camacho Quinn, who also didn't win at the Olympics, but she managed to win.
And the hers, to me, it's just a tough race. I think you can have a different winner. Next week, they compete again. Parchment probably beat everybody and be like, yo, where was that?
Yeah.
And then the following week, we say the silver medalist out dipping. One thing the Americans can dip, boy.
They definitely can. But I think the hurdles is probably the more competitive race given the caliber of the athletes.
And I
'Cause,
saw Rashid Barbel post something too. He said the last 10 meters in a normal something after him win the race.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're close, the last 10 meters, but the American out dip him in Olympic for the silver medal.
Yeah.
But hurdles always close.
Definitely.
Millimeters, and we have a long history of getting out dipped by Americans. From Peter said it, Gail Devers, Gwen Torrance. Why?
Yeah.
Tell you, man. And we say shankle dip and all them things. Americans just out deep every minute. So.
And then speaking of continuing with the hurdles, you have the 400-meter women's hurdles.
Yeah,
with
Russia finished second.
with your pick finishing first for Olympics.
Femke Bull, yeah.
Yeah,
Again,
Femke.
I want to apologize to Sidney McCaughlin. I will never bet against you ever again. I mean, 400 for you. Go around the 400.
There you go.
Yeah.
But you had
Yourself
Femke
another
Bowl.
challenge.
You had Femke Bowl taking this Diamond League in the 400. Rochelle Clayton, Jamaican, coming second. I believe we had Jenny Russell, who came third as well. And Antoinette Knight from Jamaica, I believe, fourth or fifth in that race as well.
And it's time to make the money on the circuit.
Yeah.
Because, I was hearing Michael Johnson coming with next season with a new circuit for track and field athletes and the fans to make some money and for us to view and big competition. So we're looking forward to that next year. But for now, we have meets coming up and one show coming up. I think it's this week where we have a big showdown with a pole vaulter, world record holder, Duplantis, versus the 400-meter world record holder,
Karsten Warholm.
in a 100-meter sprint to the finish.
All right, so now we're talking picks.
Big race, man. Before the minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, two, Nordic athletes, two
Yeah,
Vikings.
two Vikings.
One Swedish, one Norwegian. And I think that's good for the sport.
Who's your pick?
I am going with Warholm.
You're going with Warholm.
Yeah, I'm going with Warholm.
Okay.
Because Warholm compete on the track. That's what he does. He competes on the track.
Well, for pole vault, you do have to be explosive
Pole
on
vault
the
is a
runway.
field event.
You have to be explosive on the runway, though. It's a run. It's a
But
run
I'm just
up.
saying, I'm telling you the reason why I'm going with Warholm.
Okay.
Warholm competes on the track.
Okay.
His event, he's trying to run faster than you.
Okay.
So he's used to that competition.
Well,
Warholm
agreed.
now, his event is to run fast and jump. He's competing against himself, really.
Okay.
And, he's just going over. Not to say you have to have speed, but yet still, speed and running faster than somebody is two different things.
Well, I believe
Warholm
that.
competes to run faster than you.
I believe that Duplantis has more explosive ability in him. So I think given the distance he has to run, if it was a 200-meter, I would agree with you and say Warholm can outlast him
Warholm,
on
he
200.
wouldn't have a chance.
No,
We
but
can't have a chance.
I think for 100-meter, I'm going to go with Duplantis.
100 meter
And
longer? Don't feel 100 meters.
100
If
meters.
a 60 meter, me I go with Duplantis.
It's a lot shorter. It's a lot shorter than 400 meters.
People, that's why they call me the short. You'll see.
We'll
I'm
see.
telling you, Warholm event, he's trying to run faster than you.
Yeah.
So I have to go with the person that is competing. Just like Bolt, you notice in the latter part of Bolt's career, when he won even the last gold medal against Gatling, Bolt wasn't in a shape or form. But Bolt just know for run past you and win the race. Latter part of his career, Bolt just say, all right, let's go beat you.
It's
In the
fair.
early part of
Well,
the career, he run against the clock because, hey, in prime.
just
he's a
remember,
beast.
listeners, just remember this is the same man that bet against Sidney McLaughlin. All right, let's just keep that in mind.
Can I erase it off America? Can I erase it off America?
No,
please?
it's stuck with you.
I
I'm
mean,
so
just leaving
sorry.
up a Femke ran a good time, so I saw where I thought she would have had an inkling of a chance, but Sidney McCaughlin is a cheat code.
Aye, she is.
So you're going with Duplantis?
Definitely.
I'm going with Warholm. I'm going with the...
And we'll have Peter, who has made some accurate predictions. And of course, the tiebreaker is also going for Duplantis. So we will see.
Well, people, they're going to apologize to me next week. I'm like, hey, right? Duplantis tie up at the 80-meter mark and Warholm out dip him, and you're going to tell me, if Duplantis is no for dip, and
If the time comes when I have to apologize, I will apologize. But I'm telling you, from now, I won't.
Duplantis PB, I think, is 10.57 and Warholm 10.49, pretty close. I said, I think it's.
Advanced information.
I mean, but even so, I think it's good for TV as well.
Yeah,
it's good to see
definitely.
athletes crossing over and doing events where, and I think the fans want to see.
Yeah.
Just I think Noah Lyles is the face of track and field because of his antics. Hate it or love it, Noah Lyles, is bringing viewership to the sport.
Yeah.
Because people look at all the NBA stars. whether they want him to win or not, are watching because of Noah Lyles. And even so, coming out with his suitcase and his Yu-Gi-Oh cards and all his character building and all of that. I think it's good for the sport. I mean, I don't agree with all of those tactics and antics, but I see a lot of positives in it. And as I said, no publicity is bad publicity.
Exactly.
And I mean, he's good. He's on talk shows, on Shannon Sharp show, this show, that show. He's making talks. He's the fastest man in the world. You know, so he started the talk. I mean, he's Olympic 100-meter champion and backed up winning the worlds last year. And I mean, some things I don't agree with him saying. Sometimes he put him foot in my own mouth, even with the Junior Brumfield saga, his girlfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, pillow talk, I think that should stay at home.
Yeah, definitely. That's not something that should ever been shared.
Especially as a man.
Exactly.
You know, not to say women talk a lot, but we know that
that's
women are women and men are men. But as a man, hold it like a G, man.
Yeah, that should have been information. You can know it, but you don't tell people you know it. You leave that one alone.
Even so, time and place that doesn't even, I mean, unless him think he's playing mind games and trying to get in the athlete's head. But hey, maybe that was the case and that's why he won. I don't know. But I think he's more just craves for the attention. Yeah. That's him.
Yeah,
that's him.
He lives for the light.
And he's the face of track and field. And him back up him talk and he's a champion. He's a big runner. Got the brands in the 200-meter COVID and all of that jazz. But yeah. And even so, I saw Noah Lyles now. The next thing I want to big him up for is he's saying that to Adidas, he wants his own shoe.
Okay.
And I mean, being Olympic and world champion.
That isn't an unfair request.
It's not an unfair request because, you know.
I think it'd be almost an expected request.
Sneakers.
Yeah.
Why not?
That'd be expected. There's so many examples you have of athletes doing amazing things where they're rewarded with their own shoe. You can name multiple basketball players. You can name, I think,
Adidas has
football players.
And Edwards has a shoe. Kobe had a shoe that Adidas.
Yeah, Steph Curry.
I mean,
LeBron.
Yeah. And he's, as I said, he's not like a regular Joe where he is an athlete and he's an Olympic champion and a world champion. Yeah. So, I mean, I agree with him that. What I don't agree with, he going on a podcast with Shannon Sharp and saying he doesn't know who Nikola Jokic is.
Who?
Nikola Jokic.
Who?
Everybody knows Nikola Jokic. Come on. You think more people know Nikola Jokic than Noah Lyles?
Definitely.
No, I don't agree. No.
Definitely.
No, man, NBA is worldwide. NBA has grown substantially in the world now.
Got Noah Lyles?
Every European knows Nikola Jokic. Every American knows Nikola Jokic.
If you look at the viewership of track and field as opposed to basketball, basketball obviously has a lot more.
Basketball is our world sport.
Jokic is not just an average player. He's being touted as one of the best players in the league for the last 2-3 years, definitely. How much time MVP?
Two time.
I think two.
Yeah. I mean, won the NBA.
Exactly.
He's a European, so
exactly.
he has that European following.
Yeah.
He plays in America. He has that America fan. And basketball is a global sport. NBA is people tune in no matter what time. If NBA 5 is 2 o'clock your time, you're going to watch NBA 5.
Yeah, so I'm giving
Noah Lyles more so is watched at the Olympics.
Exactly.
If you're not an avid track fan, you're not going to get up and say, "Oh, I'm going to watch a World Championship."
And I don't believe most people watch the Diamond League as well as they would watch an Olympics or, you know. So
in Europe, I'm sure Nikola Jokic is known more.
Yeah. And Jokic would be a more commonly used name than
in America. More people know Nikola Jokic than Noah Lyles.
Yeah, I would find that one today.
And I think Noah Lyles knows who Nikola Jokic is.
Yeah.
So coming and saying you don't know who that is, I mean, I don't know what the man mind and who him know and who him don't know. Still,
I believe there's 3 Europeans in basketball now that you would just know. You would know Luka Doncic, you would know Giannis, and you would know Jokic.
Yeah. Just like how everybody know LeBron James.
Exactly.
So yeah, and basketball is a sport that, I mean, if it's right now it's global. It's not from the time of the 80s and 90s where it was growing because Michael Jordan pushed it to that. So, I mean, hence why he has to be on my Mount Rushmore. And I was doing some thinking. And to jump back now to the Mount Rushmore.
Going into it now?
Jump right into it. Because all my picks, I have my 5 picks on Mount Rushmore.
Okay, you already have your 5.
Yeah.
All right, let me try and run through a quick 5 of my own then before, because since you already have your set, I'm going to go with. Again, this is not my favorite athlete, just who I think is the Mount Rushmore of sports. Okay, so I'm going to have Michael Jordan on that because I believe Michael Jordan achieved a level of notoriety in basketball that cannot be surpassed.
not basketball and sports wise.
Just sports wise, yeah, on a whole. Everyone
Once
knows
you
Michael
see
Jordan.
the number 23,
Exactly. You know Michael Jordan.
associate to Michael Jordan.
Exactly. So I have to give Michael Jordan
Met the number.
definitely. He has to be on that Mount Rushmore. 2, like you said, Muhammad Ali. Everybody, you would want to try and give maybe a Mayweather, 51-0, I believe. But I'm going to give it to Muhammad Ali. I believe that not only what he did in the ring, but outside, what he's done for, well, 1, black culture, and 2, in his beliefs. I'm going to put Muhammad Ali on that Mount Rushmore as well. For a 3rd, I'm going to have to go with the most decorated Olympian of all time. I'm going to put Michael Phelps up there because Michael Phelps has done how much medals?
23 gold medals.
Yeah, 22 gold medals, I believe, but 23, but 28 overall, 29 overall. Yeah, I think Michael Phelps put himself. He separated himself from most in that regard, so I'm going to give it to him. And last but not least, 4. I don't even know to give number 4. I'm battling with several names in my head. I'm thinking of like Babe Ruth, baseball, not an uncommon name. I'm stuck on Usain Bolt, given what he's done for track and field. I don't know who I'm going to give number 4 to. I might have to leave that one up for debate right now. But my top 3 are pretty clear to me.
Well, for me, I pick 5. And based on how I pick it, is for 1, we know every sport have their great athletes. Because for 1, if I say Marlon is on the Mount Rushmore, nobody would know who Marlon is.
Exactly.
But he is one of the greatest table tennis players.
But if Mount Rushmore is in China?
That's what I'm saying. You have to have. That's why my Mount Rushmore goes on
Global
impact, and you have to take the top sports in the world.
Yeah.
And we all know the number 1 sport in the world is football. So a footballer has to be on Mount Rushmore. I mean, it's tough. I am of the modern era, so I will give it to Messi. An older generation would probably give it to Pele, because Pele break the ice. But if you weigh everything, I mean, what Messi has done now and break all the records still can't surpass what Pele has done for the sport of football.
I think that could be number 4 for me.
Pele has to be on it.
I think Messi could be.
I think Messi is the greatest footballer of all time.
So no,
I think Maradona is greater than Pele.
when we speak of global impact now, you can't just think of in football world and who footballers know. The average person, somebody who might not know football, I believe they would know Messi over the Pele.
But I'm just saying no. And even so with my Mount Rushmore, if I put these 5 gentlemen in a room or in a room in the world, people would know them. I don't think nobody would know Babe Ruth if you put him somewhere in China.
Okay.
If you put Messi, everybody would know Messi. Will
they know Pele?
Would know Pele?
Of course they know
Pele is Pele.
Okay.
What Pele has done, Pele. So I have a toss up between Pele and Messi, so I have to do it by sport. But first and foremost, if you have a sports debate, Mount Rushmore, a footballer has to be on it. And even so, Ali has to be on it. We both agree with Ali and Jordan. You already said everything at every point on that. So Ali, Jordan, Messi / Pele, I'm torn between each. But as I said, I'm a new generation. I'm younger. But growing up, Pele is iconic, as I said, even so for a black man. And I mean, just diversifying, winning World Cups. So with transition of football now, more Europeanized with Champions League and all of that, it's a different state now. But I wouldn't put Michael Phelps, because if Michael Phelps walked through half a tree, probably people won't know it. If Tiger Woods walked through half a tree,
no state
people
in
know.
the USA where that Phelps is not known.
But even so, I wrap it up with Tiger Woods, Usain Bolt.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods, definitely. What Tiger Woods do for golf?
Yeah.
I mean, him transfer golf to a sport now where, I mean, golf is
Okay.
elite. So if Tiger Woods is known worldwide.
That's a fair call.
my
That's a 5.
And right now, after my 5, we are fragging 5.
People, Jamaicans yard and abroad, welcome to another episode. What's going on with JFF? They don't have no backbone. Nothing.
What's the claim?
Eh?
I mean, no backbone.
backbone. You come out one day and you say, Baller nah play. Baller suspended. Baller disrespect. And now, new coach, oh, I want a clean slate. And all of a sudden, you backtrack. Baller is welcome to come back. Don't need a letter. Don't just let us know say you're coming back.
No apology.
That's not true, Fergie. They never said that.
Yeah, they say no letter. No letter is needed. You just need to communicate on any viable media outlet and say, boy, we're coming back. So if you want to send a text, you can send a text, you can send a WhatsApp, you can make a voice call, you can send an Instagram post. As long as they make it known. And I'm saying, no, you violate. You disrespected the football fans of Jamaica. You disrespected the entire football community of Jamaica and abroad. Because you said, you're taking a break. JFF said, all right, since you're taking a break, we don't want to get in this controversy anymore about selecting you and then you come misleading information again. Mm-hmm. In that one breath, that one post, misleading information, just sink the past coach. Let him look like he didn't even know what he was doing. Basically, sink JFF. And then you want to come back with the same dilemma again, where if this coach comes and selects you, you're going to come again and say, hey, I'm not ready. No, you make yourself ready. JFF gave you a mandate. Hey, write us a letter, say I'm ready to play. You don't need to apologize. Just say you're ready to play, and we're good. This coach come and said new slate. We don't want a new. I give everybody a new slate. I'm okay with that.
So do you think Jamaica can afford to turn away one of the potential best ballers that we have on the team?
We turn away Mason Greenwood, who is not Mason Greenwood, sorry. Ravel Morrison, who's our best central midfielder. Did he disrespect anybody in JFF or the team? No.
He was touted to not work well with others.
By who?
The players.
It's common knowledge.
The players said Ravel kind of have an attitude. So, I mean, if he
Everybody
affects the
have
team
attitude.
unison, then I can see why
Everybody
they
have attitude.
No, man, but it's a team sport. I mean, you need unity in the team to move forward.
Eventually, that will work itself out. Who's the bigger distraction, Ravel or Leon right now? Every Jamaica window, every single window that we are going to play a match, the talking point is Leon Bailey. Every single window, the talking point is him. Who's the bigger distraction? Our best central midfielder, you're telling me that you can't work with egos? Look how much top coaches around the world have to work with egos within their team. Teams must have somebody with that level of ego who say, hey, I want to do this. You have to find a way to make it work if you want the best. No, you didn't want it work for Ravel, but you want it work for Leon. Now, who has the biggest ego in Leon's side, in Jamaica side right now? No, Leon. Now, who said they want him own home?
Well, even Leon
Who said more personal security?
Leon has admitted that he cannot perform his best for Jamaica, given the quality of Jamaica's fields and the system under which they have to play.
Everybody are playing on the same field. And most of Jamaica's games are played overseas. So you can't say the field is a problem. Majority of Jamaica games are played overseas. So the field of the problem is him is the problem. He never want to play, he never committed in the first place. Come do this because he want a little transfer to England, he want some caps and get him want. I'm saying, if you want to play for us, you put in writing, hey, I'm ready to play. JFF, I'm ready, I'm up for selection. Mr. McLaren, Maki, I'm ready. But Maki don't do a Grimmy. And I can tell you this. He's going to do the same thing when him do Grimmy. He's not ready to play. You can talk all you want. Stick to your teeth. This is what you said, JFF. Write a letter. Say you're ready for play. Write a letter. Yes, I get a clean slate, but write a letter. And this, as the JFF say, goes for every single player now. So they remove it and say, boy, every single player, once you want to play for Jamaica, write a letter, communicate with us saying, yes. But nobody drop the backbone on this Leon situation because it's ugly.
I mean, I think we're giving Leon all of this attention for nothing. I think we just should move on from him, and it shouldn't even be a topic. Why work up yourself over somebody that, as you said, in the past, shown us more than once? But I mean, should we give a forgiving hand to him and
how many times are going to forgive him
to the team? And
how many times are going to forgive him? For the Copa, them forgive him, you know?
I
They
said
forgive it. What? 70 times 7? I know 70 times 7 was Copa, I know when they get him. But 70 times 7 was Copa.
I think he's at 491. So due to my match, I think he has.
He got his own room. He got his own room at Copa. He got his bodyguard wish. He
wasn't there at Copa.
He won't even got. Hold on, no. He go as far as him get to keep him party, going party, miss the first game and can come for the next two. And what him say? Misleading information.
I mean, it's good for Jamaica
They
to
bow
get
down
Mason
to him, you know.
Greenwood. I mean, if we don't get Mason Greenwood fully, or I mean, in the team, regardless who we have at our disposal, we
Just
use them. The coach comes.
We need
formulate
committed players.
a better system, more progressive football. I mean, with the attacking pressure, we should create more chances and score more goals. We have players playing in EPL,
US.
And even Charlton Athletic.
I mean, Charlton Athletic. I mean, but him so. And Mikel Antonio is a proven striker. I mean, Shamar Nicholson playing in the league and playing professional football in one of the top leagues in the world. So, I mean, we need scoring more goals, playing more attractive football. But, hey, as I said, with DeMar Gray again, another top footballer, Bobby Reed playing in the EPL. Those names are names that
resonate with everybody. We know
know
the team.
these players and their output that world can produce. So why we not getting the output from them? And I said, we change the coach now. You have to find a formula. And I said, work with the coach and swim up. Yes, move from this Leon Bailey fiasco. And I mean,
leave him alone. When you're ready for play
for who?
Who want to play for?
Is Jamaica?
When you're ready for play for Jamaica, can't let it. No, but for now, we focus on the pieces that we have.
Did you play for Aston Villa this morning?
Yeah, play full 90 minutes.
Full 90 minutes.
Keep falling. Yeah.
But you notice I switch it right away to EPL.
Yeah,
I
don't
want to
want to
talk about EPL talk with you because Leon Bailey played Arsenal beat Aston Villa 2-0. And were there any other matches for today?
Man, you losing 2-1.
Oh, the
6 o'clock this morning.
Oh, I was asleep because I woke up.
Insipid.
Insipid.
They are
tell
insipid.
the people
No, it's a
who
word.
don't know what insipid means. Because you probably Google it now and see Man United, right?
Eric Ten Hag.
And tell us about ETH.
No.
I'm not talking Ilian Thompson hero. Eric Ten Hag.
He needs to go, man. It's shambolic.
I mean,
shambolic performance. And when you look at it,
people, I have told Man U fans from a taller time, a longer time, whichever time, that Man United is equivalent to Sir Alex Ferguson. Nothing after that.
You'll get there,
I tell him I will be a great grandparent before I see Man U back at the top of the Premier League. Man United is a mid-table club, and Manchester is blue. So, hey,
well, Manchester is blue right now, but boy,
do you see Man United as title contenders this year?
No.
Do you see Man United finishing top 4 this year?
No.
Do you see them finishing
top 8
in that mix anywhere in the near future?
Top 8.
In the near future.
Top 8.
I'm just saying.
And I don't care what them want about.
Everybody catching up with Man U now.
The pieces are not right. This man has been given a 2-year or 3-year reign. This is his 3rd year.
First things first.
3rd year, 2nd year.
What
need to go, man.
What led to Man United's success over the years? That we all grew up in our age group, and we saw Man United winning this, winning that, and content for
it's a
titles, if not winning
consistency.
every year.
It was one particular coach, Fergie, and the consistency that he had in trusting certain players. And the owners were not. They were more football oriented, and they know that once a club is
because
successful,
Man United has spent a lot of money. Man United has
it's not
gotten a lot of top footballers. So what is the problem?
It's not spending,
I'm just saying you get the quality. So it's not like they're not.
Problem is the system.
Shopping like, so for example, like a Everton.
The problem is the system of play. You can always purchase players, but you have to purchase somebody who is fitted for your system.
What is the
players
system?
He doesn't have a system.
There you go. So I'm just saying.
ETH don't have a system.
But in ETH was there now. What happened to the coaches before ETH? What
They
happened to
weren't
Jose
given.
Mourinho?
They weren't. Jose Mourinho wasn't given a long. Jose Mourinho is a toxic person.
What about Van Gaal?
He wasn't given
Toxic, the special one.
Well,
Winning titles
he's
everywhere?
toxic. He's toxic.
I think Man United is toxic. I don't think
he
Jose
will
Mourinho is toxic.
he will give a season, and you'll win a couple trophies that season. And the next season out.
This frogging 5 is going to be frogging probably 15. Explain to the because as a Man U fan, I'm not even concerned. I'm just sitting back and just basking in your guys' or I should say demise, because you guys, when you guys are on top, the whole world hear it and all of this
I'm
and
the
that.
only Man U fan.
Right now, even earlier today, I was in a group and Man United lost, and a person said, "Well, after Man United lost, I mean, Arsenal going to lose later, I'm going to feel better." So they're basking other people's failures, but even so, Arsenal won.
Listen.
So I'm just saying, Liverpool has.
We have Liverpool next
I'm
week.
just saying, Liverpool don't want a Premier League title, and used to stick it to me. Liverpool and Liverpool win one the other day. So I'm just saying now, it's Man U time now to be in the doldrums. And as a Man United fan, explain to the radio listeners out there, the people on
Twitter,
Primal
World
14,
Wide Web.
the World Wide Web, your take on what your club, the state of your club now. I think that should be your flagging
6 feet under.
6 feet
Yeah, man, them dead man. At my club, but it's going from bad to worse right now. And the coach, he doesn't seem to have a system of play. He doesn't seem to know what he wants to do. When I look at the match this morning, I'm like, you have Rashford on one side, Ahmad on one side, and then you have 4 central midfielders. Maino, Casemiro, Bruno, and Mason Mount. What is happening? There was no chemistry on the field.
Mason Mount was a decent footballer at Chelsea. Casemiro at Real Madrid and Brazil.
Casemiro is going on the other side of the scale. Other side of the calendar.
But where he's coming from, with the likes of Toni Kroos and Modric, Modric still playing football and Casemiro.
What Casemiro does, he's playing defensive work and he's a much slower person.
But Modric plays
Modric is more technical. Modric doesn't have to move around like
you're
him.
blaming more the players, and what you should blame is the system.
He has bought players to fit in a system that they can't fit in. It doesn't work that way. For himself. Look at the team now. He has Dele now. He has bought this new right back. The right back look pretty decent. He has Malacia, who is injured, that he bought last year.
Every team has injuries.
But almost 70% of the team right now is who Ten Hag has brought in. And if you have brought in these players and they can't fit in your system, then what use are you?
Yeah. I mean, just accept that you're a mid-table club.
It don't make sense.
Just accept that Man United is a mid-table club now.
You have a right footer playing on the left side, a left footer playing on the right side. And then when they make the subs, it's the same for same. Yeah. So there's no crosses coming in.
You know me personally, I don't have anything against Man U.
No, Man U is your English club, you know.
People told me as a Man United fan.
Yeah, man,
so I don't want the listeners out there feel like, oh, I'm bashing Man U.
No,
I'm more so
poor.
bashing the fans.
It's new owners-ish, but at the end of the day, I thought...
Man U is a great club.
From the get-go, I said ETH was never the man for the job.
But I hope you guys just stick with the club, you know.
We're sticking with our club, but we need the coach to go.
And hold your heads high and take on the lash.
I need the coach to go.
Because you're going to be a great-grandfather.
No, that will never happen. I told her, but tell her.
He stored, I mean, you have to have a second coming out.
I tell you, I told you. Last year I told you 5 years time and you winning back the title. We're in year 2. I still have 3 more years.
I mean, I can give you 10 more years.
No, man, they're winning back the title.
If it do so happens that you do even win a title, I think it'll be a flash in the pan. And you won't even, back to back. Right now it's dominance from Man City. Man City is turning it into a farmer's league.
No, you're going too far. No, you're going too far.
I mean, if you win what? 5 times in the last 6 years?
4.
4 in the last 5?
4 in the last 5.
Isn't that dominance?
Not necessarily.
No, I know a little thing about dominance. You right, Peter? Right, Simon? I mean, 4 and 5 doesn't sound dominant.
It does to
yes,
me.
they sound dominant when I look at it.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, look at that face value. Yeah, 4 and 5. But when I look behind the face, I realize that his titles were not like blown away titles, like his runaway league. They are very close. The one with Liverpool, basically, a couple of them with Liverpool was like
you like
1 and 2 points
like a movie, behind. I think the star in the movie is named Dominic Toretto. You remember saying what I'm saying?
I live my life at a quarter mile at a time.
No,
so if you win by an inch
or a mile, winning is winning.
Winning is winning.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it's
there's a face value dominance in terms that they have the titles racked up, but it's not like it's a league where he's dominating by points.
And you have been,
winning
you
stretches.
You're on the show a lot. Last year, you're saying that's not allowed when City win the title. No matter how far out, you be like, yeah, City win the title. Yeah.
The City win the title again.
City win the title.
Yeah.
Again. So you're gonna be what, 5 and 6?
5 and 6.
Oh.
We gone already.
So I'm just saying it's just total.
It's dominance. A battle of second and third place right now, 4th place.
And Man U isn't in that contention.
No.
Chelsea's in that contention.
Chelsea's in that contention.
Oh, Chelsea people don't feel like I have something.
Chelsea's in that
Chelsea was riding high, I heard all of y'all. But now, Chelsea's playing Conference League. I'm just saying.
Chelsea's in that bracket. I told you guys watch out for them this year, and I wish they didn't change Pochettino, but so
we should still watch out for Chelsea this year?
Yeah, man. Them
watch out for them for what? What do you expect from Chelsea this year?
They be mounting a challenge for top 4.
Top 4?
Top 4.
Okay, so name a top 4 for the year.
Well, the top two is pretty much the same. top three is pretty much the same. City, Arsenal, Liverpool.
And 4.
Fourth, I have a toss-up between Chelsea and Tottenham. Fifth is probably Aston Villa. I have Man U finishing 8.
8. Right where they belong.
Yeah, I have them finishing 8.
I have them finish around.
I lose to Brighton today is not something nice. And I have Liverpool next week.
Brighton is a mid-table club, is a good
But I have
mid-table
Liverpool
class.
next week. So I think I'm going to lose to Liverpool next week. So 2 out of, what, 3?
Oh, you won the first weekend and I heard a lot of noise.
No, sir. That was an insipid game.
Oh, 1-0?
One.
A late goal from
Fulham.
Xerxes.
Xerxes.
From
And
Fulham.
today, he looked on the field, it looks like
From here to
man
0.
without,
I didn't watch much this man.
he
just
came
but,
on still.
I mean, based on the messages that was in my phone, I could just picture it in my head what was going. 'Cause
Imagine
I
I wake up.
messages, voice notes in a group that, I mean, full of Man U fans and a lot of despair in that group. I could feel the tears through the veins and all of that.
The
but
only time I get up for a 6 o'clock event today is if I have work, you know.
Yeah.
And I got up 6 o'clock this
Man U
morning to
people
watch this
are
watch.
invested, are passionate. Yeah.
I tell you, waking up early for disappointment is not something I
Well,
could manage.
on local footballing news, Tapa Whitmore, back at Mount Pleasant. That's a funny one. Well, 3 months of being fired, after being fired. You're back.
Who won last year?
Cavaliers. It's going to be...
One Pleasant lost in the finals.
Yeah, and they let him go and say different directions, and all of a sudden they're on One Direction now. I think it's a musical band named One Direction. But it's going to be an interesting JPL league this year, to be honest with you, because you have Lenny Hyde down there by Vier, Phoenix with Greg Butler. You have...
Portmore making a lot of trades, I hear.
Yeah,
Portmore
because
United.
the former assistant coach at Mount Pleasant is done by Portmore.
Yeah.
And
Any
you-
resurgence from Harborview this year?
No.
No, Harborview will be the
Abavi's in Man U category.
Man U category. Okay.
They probably get
In the
regulated.
doldrums.
They probably get regulated.
Oh,
too.
jeez. Poor
But
Harborview.
it's an interesting league. Road of Speed, Tapa Whitmore,
And when does-
Lenny Hyde and Craig Butler.
When does the league kick off this year?
Sometime in September.
Yeah, soon around the corner. I know
Soon. It's right around the corner because the
following
trades are going
on
there.
the good old Instagram and social media, which serves its purpose. And I mean, we know the CEO of the JPL, a good friend of ours, and I mean, we're looking forward to
Yeah,
JPL season.
it's
this
going
year.
to be a
electric
good
'cause
season.
Coming off the last 2 seasons, it's on a rise, and I mean, the electric buzz around the Premier League is a good thing for football in Jamaica. And we see even transfers from a player in this league going to
Yeah,
even
from
Serie A.
Portmore. So, yes.
So,
And a player in this league going to Charlton.
and I see where even people from small islands, I mean,
Coming
probably
to
don't like
Jamaica.
the name small islands, but
Yeah, they're
could play
coming
football in
to
Jamaica
invest
as
in
well,
Jamaica,
so-
yeah.
yeah, well,
So
the league
it's-
is full of talent.
And the greatest thing is that
the
they have
turnout is good.
Y Sports is now on board, so the local talents can actually have their stats up now. You can check their stats. So if they're looking to go to an overseas club, you don't have to depend on the club itself to say, hey, these are the minutes you played and the goals. The stats is right there.
So right around the corner, we have the Jamaican Premier League. We see all the leagues kick off in Europe, Italy, Spain, Germany, France,
And the
England.
local,
I mean, you name it. So we're looking forward to
yeah,
next
local league. And the
the
schoolboy
local
football
league,
is kicking
because
off too.
We here in Jamaica, you know, we get passionate about the Man U's and the Arsenals and the Liverpools, the Chelseas. In England, some
Yeah.
people have the Real Madrids, the Barcelona, but yet still we need to invest more.
We need to be passionate about the Cavaliers, the Hornets, the
Yeah,
Waterhouse,
so
the
going to that
Portmore,
point
Mount
now,
Pleasant.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to be from Harborview. You can be a Harborview supporter and go to matches. I mean, you don't have to be from Arnett. You can be a Arnett supporter. I mean, and as I said, you can be a supporter just because you like Tapa Whitmore and he was a
Yeah.
player and be like, all right, Tapa coaches team. But the turnout is increasing. And I mean, we all love football. So people next month, you have to look forward to that. And
Plus
I want the turnout
schoolboy
be
football.
even bigger. I mean,
Schoolboy football is
on the
coming.
horizon. So we just finished up with Olympics. I mean, we're heading into the football season. Everything is targeted around football. Track and field, we're in the back end of that season with some diamond leagues to come up. But football is on the forefront. And in Jamaica, we know that schoolboy football is the biggest thing. But yet still, Premier League needs the hype. It needs the buzz. And as I said, people turn out next month because I know I'll be there more so than not and turn out to the matches and come and report it to you. I mean, because I said the football is up. Kyle Dixon,
Charlton Athletic.
Charlton Athletic. What you think about
Undisclosed
that?
fee. Personally, I wanted him to go to like Spain or Portugal, one of those more technical teams where you can learn it more. I think we going to England, we're always looking to England, and I think football is much greater than England. There's a much greater market outside and a much greater technical countries outside of England. So personally, I want him to go to either Portugal or Spain just to build his talent. But Charlton is no fluke in England. It's one of the best developing clubs, Charlton and Southampton. So him being there, originally he was brought to be a part of the under-21 team. And based on his training so far, he's fast-tracking to the first team. So he's going to be playing a lot of substitute roles in the first team because they've seen something in him that they're saying, no, he can't play
and
under
Reggae Boyz at
Cara Anderson.
Cara Anderson as well.
Yeah,
so
so
I mean,
even-
he has a teammate there.
Teammate there,
from
and
the
I think
Jamaican
that-
setup, which I think will help him.
Help
as well.
him with his development and in his natural progression within the country,
Because
the climatizing.
when I go to football matches, he's a crowd favorite here in Jamaica, the JPL.
Yeah.
So for to see him move on now and go to Charlton Athletic, it's good.
opened doors.
Not only for him, but it's good for even the Premier League. Because as I said, more footballers like
Yeah.
him from the league. We see where
Hopefully we can say Alex Marshall back in England.
they're busy.
Because Busy Atkinson, yeah.
For Dwayne Atkinson for Cavalier. And I said, it's go there and see the talent on display. Talent is here in the league.
I talent is always there.
always
It's
there.
just for the
And-
exposure.
Yeah.
Just to get the
And
exposure.
just like
out there.
how I'm sure if you walk through half three now, you're going to see somebody in a Man U jersey, somebody in a Liverpool jersey. I mean, we want to see somebody in a Cavalier jersey, a Haberview jersey. I mean,
What I said to our friend Owen Hill the other day when I saw him, I said, boy, I would like that big TV in Half Tree or downtown whenever the Reggae Boys are playing, or if one of our local teams are playing. Similar to how, I know it's a long segment, but similar to how you can have track and field on the TV when track and field season is going on. Not everybody is home all the time to watch these games. Throw it up on a big screen. I know it's a long slot, 90 minutes, no advertisement, but throw it up on a big screen. You can stay in Half Tree and say, oh, Reggae Boys are playing, and they can watch. You get the exposure out there, get it out there. That's how you build the brand, you build the whole.
But even so,
coverage.
you have to get, as I said, sponsors on board for all of that and
Yeah.
marketing from corporate Jamaica, which I don't think football has a problem even getting.
I can tell you.
I mean,
I think table tennis has that problem.
and even so, I mean, football, I know where there's 3 matches and the record matches can be on television.
Yeah, just put it on the big screen. Persons, a lot of guys.
TVJ, CVM, record
Yeah,
matches.
you know, some persons have their rights to show in the coverage. So by the rights,
But the league is definitely moving on a right.
the trajectory is
And I went
upward.
to the super final last year. I mean,
Oh, that was a final.
that was a good spectacle, a good turnout to see the
Yeah.
stadium.
Almost full.
90% full capacity, so that was good. And we expect bigger and better things this year from the Premier League. So I mean,
No doubt, no doubt.
in wrapping up the show, I mean we have 2 minutes, and then again we have to big up Yona Night Wisdom, who took the time out. I mean, I don't say he's here on vacation.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Came, did a diving camp by the pool. He was here for 2 weeks, trying to do big things.
Can I just jump in?
Right,
Sure.
go ahead.
Next week, we'll have a panel to discuss Jamaica's performance from a sports psychologist point of view. Surely, that is a very relevant topic at this point. So far, we have confirmed Dr. Scott Hamilton, who normally travels with the team, and a couple other prominent people on the gram, as well as our specialists.
Yeah. Shop included.
Including the Schwab and so on, to discuss Jamaica's 11th performance. You won't want to miss that episode.
Yeah, so back to what I was saying, big up you tonight. I mean, pioneer for Jamaica, diving team captain of the recently concluded Olympics in Paris. And I mean, has done great things for Jamaica, and it's good to hear from him. I mean, the horse's mouth, his story, and what he has done, what he's doing now, and what he looks to do. And I mean, giving back to the sport, to me, shows greatness, because a lot of people has had distinguished careers as athletes, but for me, those who stand out even more so than others are ones who give back to their sport. And I mean, to just show that, hey, you want to pass on the baton and pass on that knowledge and push the sport to another level. Because I mean, you want to have more Yona Night Wisdom to just be. Remember 20 years ago, that diver, what's his name? We want to be like, oh, Yona Night Wisdom set the the bar high, and then afterwards you have Simon Thomason, the next diver,
No.
or Kane Watson, the next diver, or Peter Wayne, the next diver. But I'm just giving you names that, I mean, and then be like, oh, we have 5 divers in.
Yeah.
Or we
I
have
like
4
that.
divers in. But, I mean, it's good to see him giving back the sport and the vision he has. And I said, I want to thank him again for taking the time out and coming on Primal. I want to thank you for filling in for, I mean,
Dale.
my co-host. And I mean, I know you and Dale have something in common.
What's
You're, Caribbean silver double medals.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and I mean,
No.
yeah, you share that in common with me. I said, but it's good to have you on the show and your insight. I mean,
When Primal calls, I answer.
yeah, you have to big up Tamo TV because YouTube people subscribe to Tamo TV.
We just passed 5,000.
Oh,
Tell you, climbing. And you see, these 30,000 people that listen here, when you come off and we finish the show, go to YouTube, look for Tamo
spell it out.
TV. You might see me in probably one or two
TOMO
episodes
_TV.
later on. I'm saving that for later on in the season, but I mean, it's a good watch. And again, from the Primal Sports, controversial boss, for big him up again. I mean, he always come with something. Yeah, people tell me, yo, Peter coming on? What time Peter coming on?
Yeah.
I say, you know that I start the show.
Yeah, come on for the segment.
People love controversial boss, and we here love him as well. So I have to big him up again and frag in 5.
people, Fit FM 96.7, Facebook, YouTube, World Wide Web, Primal 4K app. Coming up next, DJ Teach Them.
So one love from the Primal Sports Decks, and we'll see you next week. Peace, enjoy your weekend, and love alone.
Stay safe.